discussion about the latest episode of Better Call Saul, episode 11, Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. Yep.
What'd you think?
I mean, it was heavily teased. Anticipation was there. Paid off for me. I don't know what you felt, but
As soon as I saw, it opens up with him in the bag.
yeah.
And Sarah has to deal with me in my commotion when we're watching this shit. So I was just like, oh, here we go. Oh shit. And then I saw their feet and it just, I went to Gene. So I'm like, the whole time I'm just waiting. I'm like, okay, give it to me.
Starts in color. So you're like, oh shit, where are we at? Then you see the mask. You're like, and then right then it was like starting to click for me. I was like, he's in the RV. Holy fuck. And then,
oh yeah, he's in the crystal ship.
Yeah. And then just like the shots of like the methylamine bottles, it's just, I mean, they're simple shots, but it just means so much to the fans.
Yeah.
Like when you see them there.
Brings you right back.
Yeah. Felt so good. Just, I don't know. I mean, the whole show has been, I guess, building towards like this cameo of these two. But I'm glad that they're not just making it like the final scene. It serves its purpose and it's having fun, but this is Jimmy's story. It's not their story.
And the way, like, I know we've talked about like what scene would be good to introduce Walt and Jesse in, and I think this, of course, was the perfect way to do it. Just the way they had it like mirror what's going on in Gene's life.
Yeah.
So like,
this whole episode was smart. I mean, the title Breaking Bad, I mean, obviously we know what that means, but it was smart that they like mirrored 2 times in his life where he's breaking bad in a way that's so self-destructive for what's to come. He's slipping again, he's breaking bad again, and it was really like the editing in this I thought was pretty tight. And I always wonder like what a person who hasn't seen Breaking Bad would think watching this show. Yeah. And I think that watching this episode might be the one time where they're like feeling whiplash maybe of like not knowing what's going on, maybe. Yeah. But to me, I mean, to anyone who really knows, I feel like it flowed so perfectly. And
it does.
The jumps.
And even the whiplash thing, like if they turn around and just watch Breaking Bad now, I mean, they don't have to wait long to get to this episode.
Right. It would be such a unique experience because like then you'll finish this show and then you'll like kind of jump a little bit back in time to meet Walt and Jesse, and then you'll come up to this point again and then continue. I don't know, it's cool. Yeah. They threaded it.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I was wondering too, because I know in El Camino it was a big hoopla. Walter's head was huge, because he wore a bald cap. So I'm like, okay, there's gonna be another hoopla about it. They thought about it.
Had the hat on. Yeah, they're not fucking doing that shit again. Honestly, I rewatched El Camino a little bit ago, and it wasn't that bad. I don't even remember it jumping out to me, the bald cap.
That's what I thought too. But, I thought he shaved his head again, personally. But
some of these,
I guess
this fan base, man, I've always loved this fan base, but this final season, these last stretches, they're starting to diverge, I'd say, like people's expectations. Really? I don't know. I mean, I'm on Reddit or whatever, and that's the cesspool of the internet, but it's like,
I don't get on that forum very often.
No, that's fair. But there's a Better Call Saul subreddit, and it's pretty active at the moment, obviously. And some people are happy, some people are upset, some people are like totally bored, like at how it's coming to. I mean, I'm all for it, man. And then there's people like me who are just true fans and see it for what it all is. And
how can you be bored though? I mean, it's all built up to this moment. Like,
even
Gene, we were gonna end up with Gene.
I always wanted to end here. Like, this is where it needed to end. I don't know where people wanted it to really end.
We saw Saul in Breaking Bad. Why do we need to rehash all that?
Yeah, you don't want to just do the greatest hits. You want to. It's a unique show to its characters, and you don't want to just like sacrifice that for fan servicey moments. Like moments in these felt slightly fan servicey, but they're done in just the right amount and just the right way that. It's not just like fanfic,
They're not just sucking their own dicks, because of the greatness of Breaking Bad. They know, that that's great and whatnot. But this is Jimmy's show, This is Saul's show, so they just peppered it in there. And even at the end, Sarah was like, "Is that all of Walt and Jesse?" I'm like, "Hey,
it might be.
This is Jimmy's show." Yeah. I think it is.
It might be, yeah.
Because the way they ended it, because in Better Call Saul. The episode of Breaking Bad, it ends with Saul leaving the chemistry lab,
Yeah, walking out.
this one he's walking in. So I thought that was a nice.
They did a lot of the work to like kind of put the scenes in the right places to make the timeline work too. And like, because I always wondered in that scene is like, what made Saul show up at the school? You never really know. It's just like he's like, oh yeah, I found you, and you're actually the teacher or whatever. But they did enough work to like just give you a little bit of nuggets of like lore to make it all work. You know,
it's good. Even how long has it been since Breaking Bad? 15 years.
Damn, dude, that's crazy, man.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And it still feels fresh and perfect. I don't know. It made me just want to watch Breaking Bad all over again.
I think I'm feeling that too.
It's like I was talking to my buddy and I was talking about how we discuss this. I know this. You can probably cut this if you want, but I was like, I would just love to just talk about Breaking Bad with somebody else, you know?
Yeah.
Because I've never had that. I talked to it with, Sarah. I forced her to watch it. She still doesn't really like it, but I forced her to watch it. But yeah.
That was like the second show that me and Emily watched together, and she was all about it. I mean, the first one was Lost, and that shit'll hook you if you're into it easily. And then second one I was like, all right, well, now that we got through that, I mean, she watched 100 episodes, so like, let's watch something else, something good. Breaking Bad was the next one, and it's just good storytelling, man. And I might watch it again too, so I'd be down to maybe talk about it.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'm due for another rewatch anyways. I try to watch it once a year, so
it will be interesting now to see, to kind of like I think my brain will be trying to fill in some gaps on like Jimmy's and Mike's and Gus's story now, and the stuff we don't see in Breaking Bad. I'm going to be trying to find some little lore nuggets there or something, you know.
That's what makes this show so great, because it complements Breaking Bad so well, you know. You get those little things that you don't necessarily get from Breaking Bad. Like, you always knew Gus had this, darker, not really darker, but he had a past, and you want to know how he got to where he is and how he's meticulous and how he's alone, and so I don't know, it's just good to see lead up to that. And why he's still alone.
Just enough information to like give you the backstory and make it juicy.
It's great.
Yeah. Did you want to, like, I went through the whole episode. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff to talk about, I'd say, but
kick us off.
The first, I mean, obviously the opening scene we talked about a little bit. That shit just balls to the wall. We're in it. Here we go. And then I don't think we talked about it before, but they're doing some cool stuff with the intros now, with like the tape,
the blue screen
running out, or like he's played it too many times or something. Like the last episode, you saw like just a little bit of the like vintage Better Call Saul shit, and then it like fades out.
Kicks out. Yeah.
And now it's like totally almost gone. I don't know. It's cool. I can dig it. It's making this shit feel climactic, you know.
Oh yeah, we're coming to an end here.
Yeah. The tape's almost over. It's sad. I don't know.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, but it's bittersweet, I think,
It is, yeah.
But
like these two series are companion pieces and two of the best pieces of television ever made, if not the best things. Like, honestly, in my opinion, like.
Yeah, no argument here. Honestly, I love the shit out of this stuff. I mean, Breaking Bad was, when I first watched it back freshman year in high school, I was like, this is art, So changed my life from that point on. So.
Yeah, for sure. But it was nice to see Francesca again. It was cool to see her in like black and white too. Like, it's just not any black and white scene. The feeling of like untapped story is there for me, where I'm just like, holy shit, like we're coming onto new ground here. We don't know what we're doing. It's just exciting.
I'm here for the black and white stuff. The whole Gene black and white, keeping it black and white. Yeah. Great choice.
It's like the only times in the show that you felt you don't know what's next. Like.
Oh yeah.
I mean, every other time you know how it's going to end, for the most part, We're going to get to Breaking Bad. But I thought it was a nice, like, setting for her to be in. She's, like, an owner of some, like, shitty apartment. She's, like, used her money that she's got from Saul, but, like, she's still kind of living in that, like, shitty situation. I don't know.
She stayed in Albuquerque.
Yeah. No vacations or something. Like, I know she was always wanting to go on vacation and go to somewhere nice, maybe. Maybe the money she got now, she can do it.
Oh yeah, to actually take a load off,
Yeah.
But
the phone call between her and Jimmy, I think that was one of like the juiciest bits of the episode just in terms of like information that the audience wants to hear. You know what I'm saying? That's where
what's
like
happened.
yeah, that's where like the fanficky stuff kind of comes in or whatever. But like
And
Skylar,
of course,
go ahead.
Probably one of the most important things mentioned was Kim, called about him.
Yeah, finally know she's alive. I know a lot of people thought she'd be dead, but yeah, she made it.
She's still kicking.
Yeah, and the phone call between her and Jimmy that you don't hear, man, that shit's like breaks your heart, but like it's done so well.
Oh yeah, and and that's what I appreciate about like these guys. They treat us like adults. We didn't have to hear the play-by-play of what they talked about. You just had to get the gist of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was just enough to send him back.
Yeah, for sure. And it was a nice parallel to the scene in season 1. It's like one of the first episodes with it's like a flashback to Howard telling Jimmy that he's not going to be getting hired at HHM or whatever, and he walks into the room and closes the door, and then you don't hear any of the audio. Just like this. It was like a nice little parallel. And in that scene, you know exactly what happened without hearing anything too. It's
right.
They just know how to be like minimal but get everything across.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
They know how to make you eat the scenery and like take your time, but at the same time they treat you like you're smart. Like they've always said, our audience is intelligent.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that. It's kind of refreshing,
Yeah.
It pays off for sure.
Yeah, and then he kicks the glass, like he's definitely like spiraling, and he also is like his plans aren't working out like how he thought they would. Like all of his money, all of his shit's gone. They got it all. Kim calls him, but clearly doesn't really like want to do what he wants to do, like, and then he starts to spiral. So
yep, and then he breaks bad,
Yeah,
to make the comparison.
Yeah, the phone call with Francesca, I just wanted to, like, there were some juicy bits of info, like Skylar getting, like, a deal made.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people wonder how her story ended, I guess, and she must just still be living, smoking cigs in Albuquerque.
Smoking around the baby.
Yeah.
The usual stuff.
Wonder what Walt Jr.'s up to. Didn't hear about him.
Yeah.
It was cool also to hear that Jesse's car was found at the border of Mexico.
Yep.
So like the El Camino shit, that plan worked out. And,
tying it all in.
Yeah. El Camino's cool too as like it's definitely like a coda to the story.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know. I think Jesse deserves. He's one of the main trio as we see in like later scenes in this episode.
Definitely. I mean, I think out of all the characters that needed closure, I think he was one of the most important ones, And
100%.
having that 2-hour-long movie is like just an extended episode.
Yeah.
It was perfect, Yeah.
I'm glad it's like relevant to to the story now here.
Yeah, and of course it would be. I mean, yeah. So,
one thing that when they were talking, I was just like, dude, what the fuck, man? It is kind of make me not upset, but just like slightly cheated. And he's like, how's Kubi doing? And Kubi's Bill Burr.
Yeah.
We still haven't seen Bill Burr, dude. I've been waiting. Like,
seen Huel, but we haven't seen. I know. Yeah. I was thinking about that too, and I was rewatching it with Sarah when Huel tosses the sandwiches at the undercover cop. I was just thinking at that moment, I'm like, where's Bill Burr? How does Saul hook up with him?
They're like a duo, and we still have yet to see him. I don't know if we will. It kind of sucks, but
there's probably scheduling conflicts would be my guess.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I don't know. They brought him up. Maybe that was like the homage to like just bring him up enough and hope that the fans are like happy. But I just wanted to see him. I definitely wanted to see him. Yeah. But it's nice. Another fan service moment. Huel back in New Orleans. And he got out because he was held under false pretenses.
Right.
And I don't know if you know, but he's like a meme after Breaking Bad because he's left in the room by Hank and Gomez, and they're like, stay here, we'll come back and we'll let you out, and he's just like sitting there all sad on a couch, and then you never like that's the last you see of him in that show.
Really?
Yeah, and people are just like the meme is that he never left that room or whatever. And,
oh really?
Yeah,
I haven't seen that.
He never got out. So it's definitely for the fans to know that he got out free because he was held there under false pretenses. and he's back in New Orleans. He's living a good life, I guess.
That's about right. That's about right.
I laughed out loud when I heard that because that was just perfect. Yeah, and then I think the last like character one was just Bill Oakley switching to become a defense attorney.
Yep. And now he's on the benches.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I don't know. They just do those little. I mean, time has passed, and that might have been influenced by Saul too. You know, like he might have seen what happened with him, and he was like,
"That's where the money's at."
Yeah, right. Switch it up.
I like that part when Francesca said he switched to the other side or whatever. Oh, he's gay now, or he came out.
Yeah.
He was like, no.
Yeah, and then Francesca just like hangs up.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I guess it's goodbye.
It's good. That's what's also nice. You know, this show super serious, but you know they know when to put comedy in there and they know how to do it correctly. Like they're comedy writers.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes down to it, it's dark comedy. It's great.
Yeah, it is for sure. And the montages show that a lot.
Oh
just
yeah,
like how
definitely
sickly funny it is. What's going on? You know.
Yeah.
But then I mean, after that, he drives to the four-way stop, and I mean, just classic imagery, fork in the road. Right. And at that point, he's made the call to Kim, he's made the call to Francesca, and he doesn't know what to do. And there's like so many options. And then I guess he would drive back to the thing and then call Kim, right? That's when it.
Yeah.
That's when it ends, yeah. So he
and
reverts back, like turns around, I would assume.
Yeah.
Doesn't even make a choice. Like.
It's kind of like when Skylar's tossing the coin up and it's like telling her go everywhere else but, you know, stay in New Mexico, and she just moves the coin over on herself, you know?
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
He's going to make the decision he wants to make.
Right. He's made up his mind, bottom line.
Yeah.
It's like I said before, you know, Saul just eats all of the personalities. It's always going to be Saul that peeks through and conquers all. So,
yeah.
And I think he's definitely gone to the deepest end that you can get with, you know, the shenanigans that I don't even know if you can consider them shenanigans, just straight up asshole.
Theft now. Yeah, like this scam he's running in this episode is much darker than other ones, and it's just sadder now. And like that's perfect. I mean, it just feels how it should feel, but it's just
right.
You're watching him on his last, like when he's doing karaoke. I thought that was like a smart thing to put in the script too, as like a parallel to when him and Chuck are singing karaoke back in like the old days, the good days or whatever.
Yeah, when he became a lawyer.
Yeah, and then now it's just him sitting up there alone, singing terribly, and it's just so fucking like depressing. It's black and white. There's like no life anymore. But yeah, and that dude, the first dude he scams. Did you notice him? You notice who that was?
Was
freaking Buzz from Home Alone. You know, his like brother, Kevin. Have you seen Home Alone?
Seen it once.
Wow, never mind. Okay. Well, that's why I instantly recognized him because I've seen it like 50 times or whatever. But yeah, it's him as an older guy. He played it perfectly. He was playing the asshole like perfect. I thought he did a really good job.
All the targets that, or I guess the other one that we actually sit down with, you know, it was good. Like usually in a lesser show, it would be cheesy, you know, bad acting, some side character. But yeah, I agree. He pulled it off.
Yeah, they do a good
drunk acting is kind of hard to pull off, I think.
Yeah, he did a good job with it too.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean these casting directors / this whole crew, they just do a good job of bringing in great side. Even if they're in it for like 2 minutes, they're gonna steal the scene, and that's just choosing the right people, I'd say.
And the whole time as he's doing this scam, I'm thinking, what is the scam? And I don't know. The whole each scene makes you think like, what are they gonna do? And then of course you never can figure. At least I can't figure it out until it's like right there, and I'm like, okay, so this is it. This is like bad crime. What he's doing. This isn't a slipping Kimmy scheme, you know. So
he's going for it all now, literally. Yeah. Everything that they have. Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people like when they say that this shit's boring, or like they see Nippy, right? Was it Nippy?
Yeah.
Nippy and this like these old gene heists. They're like, this is so boring. But like, I find that every time they present a heist situation, like you said, the discovery along the way is so interesting.
Yeah.
Just step by step that it's inherently interesting, so I'm never bored. You know what I'm saying? So
right. And I mean, it's not like Breaking Bad was like a shoot 'em up, bang 'em up type thing. So like even if these were loyal fans from they're like wanting all this cartel action. I mean, Saul had that, right? But even now, I mean, it's the same kind of concept. I mean, they didn't sell meth for like a whole season in Breaking Bad. It was about getting there, and even when they did sell meth, it wasn't like just all about it. It was about the drama within, the consequences of all those actions and living through all that stuff. And that's kind of like this Gene situation. It's him Breaking Bad, but he's doing it his way. Like, it'd be boring if it was, just a recap or a redo.
Well, and that's like Saul's character is not Heisenberg's character. Like,
right.
when Heisenberg goes on like an anger fueled, like, I'm gonna go just fucking do whatever I want and fuck this, he usually wins because he's like that character is a badass in that way. But whenever Jimmy goes on like an anger fueled like revenge thing or whatever, it usually ends with him having to pay for it. And that's like what this character is. So I appreciate ending this way. Like with Walt, you wanted to end as Vince Gilligan pitches it, Mr. Chips as you wanted to end at Scarface with him with the fucking showdown. With Jimmy, it's a whole different story. It's like a man who's like slowly getting away from himself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, Jimmy isn't like a deity like Walt was, where Walt's just, Walt's gonna win, right? Jimmy, it's always, I don't know, and he's always been like that. Even when he was Saul, he's not a big tough guy,
and
he can't just change character immediately and just Heisenberg it up,
act somebody else. Yeah, and he's always been on like the fringes of crime. I mean, that's what Better Call Saul is really nuanced about, is like finding the law side of it and the fun, and also diving into the crime world a little bit. But he's always been on the fringes, never wanting to engage in the crime. He's always just making the plan, that kind of stuff. So
just reaping in the benefits.
Yeah, he wants to set it up and then make other people do it for him, so he's never like actually doing it himself, or like never tied to it. But I don't know. I appreciate how it's all going, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think it's like last episode. Nippy. That was one of my favorite episodes this season. I don't know. I loved the heist. The whole thing. I mean, even this one, I'm there for the montage of what's happening. It's so cool. He's sucking the alcohol out with his pouch, and it's just like, who thinks of this shit?
Yeah.
How can you not just be at the edge of your seat thinking, my God, this is fucking interesting. I wish I could have thought of that.
Yeah.
That's probably why everyone's so mad. They're like, damn it, I could have thought of that.
It's like, oh, it's just that you have to just do simple good writing. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I get it now.
Wait, there's no multiverse in this.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just so good. Yeah, subtly good. I don't know. And that montage. I mean, there's a couple in this one, but when they're just like, it's like a great song. I've never heard it before, but it's like an old like western-y type of. Like...
Didn't they say it's by the Monkees or something?
Oh, really? Shit.
I think that's what Tom Schnell said. It might not have been that song in the montage, but I think the montage song was the Monkees or something like that.
It's just where they're scamming all the dudes at the bar, and
can't remember which one he said.
You're watching Jimmy like just slip so hard, dude. Like it's like hard to watch, man, because like he's got his like fucking Bluetooth shit again. He's buying hookers again. Like he's got his stupid little leg machine thingy again. Like he's just going right back to his old ways, man. He's
Saul Goodman in his prime now. It's also interesting. You get to that scene. I don't know how, because that transition from the grave to him in bed with the hookers, and then he's doing all his shit, but then you get to the guy who has cancer, and you're thinking, uh-oh. And for a moment I thought, oh,
he's
Jimmy's
not gonna scam him,
right? And they get out to the taxi. I'm like, okay, he's gonna get in this taxi, and the other guy's gonna get the other one. But nope, there is no not stopping this train, clearly.
Yeah.
So I think we're at a point of like, I don't know if we can be there for Saul. I don't know if it's morally right to root for this guy anymore.
He's definitely crossing all those lines. I mean, he's crossed in the past, but this episode too, there were many times where I was like, oh fuck, man, Jimmy's gonna die. Like, he's dead at the end of this series. Like, there was one shot where he's just watching the dough turn and like spacing out, and you see like an exit sign in the back, and I was like, dude, this like. They showed that just made me think of Chuck spacing out at the exit sign in the courtroom, and he's dead like 4 episodes later. Like,
how do you think he's gonna go? If he goes, how
Jimmy?
do you think it's gonna go? Yeah,
that's what I don't know. Because like I do think that Jimmy needs to be face to face with Kim again somehow.
Yeah, Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe he goes to find her after this next episode where he's like on the run again. He goes to find her, and then she like is setting him up. Maybe, I don't know, pulling, because I don't know, from that conversation that we don't hear, it feels like Kim obviously wants Jimmy to like maybe come forward. I don't know, or like she doesn't want him to keep doing the shit he's doing. Clearly,
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe she wants him to like admit to all that's coming on, but then he wouldn't die. So I don't know how he would be dead at the end of it. So
Yeah.
maybe he's just paying for all of it at the end. He's caught by the law. He's dead
he had that
inside.
that spell, so maybe he'll just die of like a heart attack or a stroke or something.
Just like Marco.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, maybe. I feel like it's interesting too that you have Kim who got out when, it was still at a point to where she could get out, And I think at this point, Jimmy's so far gone, and I think Kim knows it too with that call.
Yeah.
So like if he tries to call her and reach out and, touch base again, and she's like, no, after all the dealings with Heisenberg, it's like you fell off the deep end. You didn't get out when you should have got out. So I think that relationship is dead.
That's what I'm like. She knows what he did. He was helping peddle meth to Albuquerque, like to every citizen of Albuquerque, like
right.
And by this time, I'm assuming she's done a little bit of like soul searching to find that. In my opinion, Kim was never really a bad person. It's just that Jimmy brought her into that shit.
Right.
Like, she was a great lawyer.
And she was good at being a bad person, which I think what scared her and why she got out.
She indulged in it after a while, but I think if she like really thought about it, like she would come back to the fact that she's actually a good person, and that Jimmy is the person that like fucked up her life. I mean, that's what I would come to, and I think if that is how it comes to with this relationship, I think that's justified in my opinion. Like the relationship's dead. Like she's not gonna bust him out. She's not gonna pull another heist later. She's not gonna go back for one more at the end of the show. It's like no, she's been done. Like
she's definitely done. I think that whole thing it's dead. It died there with Howard.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you want to talk about the Walt and Jesse scene a little bit.
Yeah. Sorry, I've been jumping around. I know you.
We've been going a little bit through, but they toss these scenes in there, kind of scattered, so it's hard to just talk about them on their own or whatever.
I can't remember the transition, but between the guy with cancer and Walt, is that when we go back to Walt again after he talks to the guy who has cancer, and then we go to Walt? But I don't remember which time that is. But anyway, so Walt and Jesse.
Yeah.
Walt totally slipped back right into character.
That's what I felt too. Aaron Paul did a good job. I think he's just a little older now, and it's throwing slightly. But dude, Bryan Cranston, man, I did not feel any disconnect whatsoever.
He looked the same.
Mm-hmm. And all the affectations he was doing as Walt, it's like his like Walt voice or whatever, like.
And he's kind of hunched over, just a little bit where he's kind of an old man.
Yeah, he's looking a little pathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That was good.
It's a little harder for Aaron Paul because, being a younger age gap, starting at like this age and then going to, where he is now, it's kind of harder to disguise that transformation. But being at what Bryan Cranston's age was, it's kind of easier to slip back into that. Oh, he can be 50 to 60,
I wonder if for Aaron Paul too. I mean, I think you should just love this character, I guess. But like, I wonder if he wouldn't want to revisit this character as much as like Brian would or whatever, just because he's like a more immature version of himself. He's like young. He's like playing younger. He's like playing dumber. And I know I've been watching him on Westworld. And he's trying to play very stoic now, and like it's fine. It's just I think I could see him not engaging with this character as much. Whereas
I think towards the end too, when he starts working by himself with Gus in Breaking Bad, he kind of transforms into this like more mature. He's still Jesse Pinkman at his core, but at the same time, he becomes sort of a man-ish. So it just felt like that's who he was in this one, which is only
Yeah,
season
he
2.
felt a
Or
little smarter than he should have been, maybe. Like
right,
he already had gotten to that level of peace somewhat, or
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I felt that a little bit.
just a little bit.
Um,
Otherwise, though, I mean, it was perfect.
yeah, yeah. But then I said it was just like you said, it was a great scene to utilize the cameos with, I guess, because it's something we hadn't seen. It was like right after what we had seen, and it deepened. It like told us how Saul figured out the whole operation,
Yep,
and it just gave us intimate moment in the camper together.
right.
That was just like you wanted the scene to be fun somehow, but you had to make it still in the story. So I think that they chose a good time to just have some fun together while still figuring out the world together. Like
Yeah,
it was good.
and paying homage to a couple things from Breaking Bad. The light when he took out the key, the round flask that
Yeah,
they start off their get together with, talking about all the instruments and things like that.
yeah.
It was all just so nice too that it didn't overshadow the main, I don't know, Better Call Saul story. It wasn't
Well,
like, oh, this is the Walt and Jesse show,
yeah, they did a good job too of having Jesse ask about Lalo, obviously,
Yeah,
because that's
yeah,
like what we know in Breaking Bad is he says two names,
yeah,
and like they built the whole story of Better Call Saul around that perfectly. But just to like harken back, like, because Jesse probably would maybe want to know who Lalo is, and I
right,
like how he's like, oh, I haven't heard that name on the streets, so it like reassures Jimmy, but also sets him back to all the shit he's been trying to like push
yeah.
down, like.
I'm wondering too, because like he worked with Crazy 8, so I wonder why Crazy 8 never mentioned Lalo.
That's
I guess
true.
he was just intimidated by him, but
Yeah.
and he was really just Nacho's guy, and he only saw Lalo the one time.
Yeah.
No, he saw him twice when he played poker with him.
Played
He gave him
poker,
the
give him
name
the
Crazy
name.
8,
Yeah, that's true.
but
Maybe I mean they've been gone a year or 2 to 3 years
true.
somewhere
And
in
like
there.
Jesse was also, he worked with Emilio. He wasn't with Crazy 8. Like when he went and saw Crazy 8, you could tell he didn't respect him.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, maybe I'm just trying to give these guys more credit
No,
for
I mean I think it
for
works
that, but
still, yeah.
that was my thought
Um
process when he says I haven't heard Lalo on the street. I'm like, but what about Crazy 8?
yeah,
Well, but,
that's true.
yeah.
But and I also Saul goes and hops in the passenger seat, and then Walt hops in the driver's seat, and
Mhm.
then Jesse sits backwards facing the other direction. And that to me was like another moment in the episode where I was like, dude, Saul's fucking dead, man. Like, because Walt
Yeah.
and Saul are looking, they're going one way, and Jesse's going the other way. These two are the ones that are like leading the destruction of their own lives.
Oh
Jesse's
yeah.
the one guy who's going to get out of it. So it just
And
makes me scared. And then it cuts to like the grave, and then
right.
Saul just laying in the grave.
Yep.
It's like, holy shit, bro.
Like, could you slap me in the face with that real quick? I mean,
Yeah.
Jesus.
So they're really hinting at it. Maybe it's just they're saying that death is like not literal, where he's like a dead man and just how
Yeah.
he'll end. I could see that being a
Maybe.
good ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sad, obviously.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's so good. And knowing that Saul had such a big part in the creation of Heisenberg and the Empire,
That was the other scene that was really smart. Him and Mike.
Yeah.
If you want to talk
Like
about that one.
still his PI, and like kind of, shows how Saul always got his information, He
Yeah,
just send his little rats out and they come back with some information for him.
it was that scene did a lot, obviously, because one, you don't really know how he knows Mike in Breaking Bad, or
Yeah.
how Mike is connected to Saul and Gus. That's kind of not super explained. Obviously, we know now in Better Call Saul, but it's nice that like he's obviously coming in to do these little private like
Yeah.
investigations for him. So he kind of like he's still utilizing Mike a little bit, just enough
Right.
that he would need to for what we know. Like
We get the he who shall not be named
yeah,
thrown in there, and yeah, classic Mike. I'm gonna put my foot in your skull. It's just, I don't know. They both, all of them just slipped right back into character of like what we knew, and like they were in the characters obviously, but like Saul was never really Saul Goodman that we saw in Breaking Bad until now, obviously,
now,
and
yeah.
just so easily slipping into the character of the larger than life Saul Goodman. Yeah,
And,
good. The
and
gruff
yeah,
Mike.
that scene totally like recontextualizes Breaking Bad too. With you, like what you said, it's basically Saul is the one that like develops Heisenberg.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's the one that like engages to make him become what he is. Like that's
Right.
I don't know. That's crazy. I mean, it makes these two series like perfect together now too.
Definitely.
Even more so.
And like, because Walt and Jesse, they just wanted to keep it low key, make enough money to get where he is, and then saw this opportunity of like, this is gold,
make
and
more.
we can make something off of this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just the way they complement each other just blows my mind every episode. I'm just it's great.
And Mike
I love
warns him. He's like, "Don't mess with him, dude. He's an amateur." He calls him like, and it's like, yeah, he's 100%. Don't mess with him. He's a fucking amateur. Like, he's gonna rock your world. Like,
Yep, and they all feel it too. Gus, Mike. I mean, shit, they die at his hands.
Yeah.
In some fashion.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesse gets fucked up from it. Doesn't die, but he gets fucked up from it. Saul. I mean, look where he is now.
Fucked up, yeah. And that's, I mean, with the cancer guy he's scamming now in the present day. I think they were trying to draw parallels to Walt. Obviously, like he's holding some feelings against Walt, probably for. I mean, I'm assuming he blames him for the downfall of his life here, but we know now clearly. He's always been responsible. Like,
I mean, we can even hold him responsible for Mike and Gus's death because Mike was like, "Don't do it. Don't get in business with this guy," and he insisted.
He fucked up. I mean, that's what's cool. That'd be a nice in this Breaking Bad rewatch too. Is just everything was so nuanced and built and like so methodical, and then Walt comes in and just tears the fucking place down, dude. Like,
destroys it.
Yeah, so it's just great. That'd be fun to see.
Watching these earlier episodes with Gus, crafting the super lab and the extensive amount of work he put in to make this creation and keep it low key, and then Walt just comes in and fucking destroys it. Makes you just hate him even more, because Gus worked hard for this. This is his baby, and you fucked it up, Walt. You fucked it up.
Fucked everything up. But I mean, he also is like seen in my eyes too as like the balance of like what this universe is or whatever. Like they're all shady people doing terrible stuff in the crime underworld, and here's like justice for them. Like Walt is like in form of like he's gonna come in and make sure that all these guys get what they deserve, in just not like, in the right way. Like I need to like do it for justice, but
it's like what Mike says. There'll be justice, and not just dead. All you gangsters are the same. You and your justice. So it's. Kind of works out.
It's all revenge.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, just jumping to a different scene. I wonder about Carol Burnett's character, the older woman. I think
she's onto him.
She's definitely like onto something. Clearly, he's looking sketchy out the window, doing some different shit. And I was wondering, like, is she going to be somehow responsible for, like, his catching or his, something like that, his comeuppance?
Well, the schnapps scene, obviously, when he left and she was like, "Oh, I thought he was here for me." That kind of got her going. She has a computer now.
And he taught her how to search.
Yep.
Yeah,
I don't know. Saul's all over the internet.
Yeah, no, that's
better call Saul.
I think it would be poetic if an older woman, like representing the elderly group that Jimmy has like fucked over for many seasons, is part of the reason that he gets caught. I think that would be really nice, honestly. But
it'd be. I don't know. Yeah. I think that's gonna be part of it. It's got to be the way she looks out the window, and she doesn't really like revisit. You just see that little moment where she sees something's going on out there, and she sees Gene or hears Gene talking. I don't know. I think I think they're building up to something here.
Yeah.
One last thing for the Saul scene where he says nobody with a mustache like that can have good intentions, or whatever, and now Gene has a mustache. So,
well, that makes sense too, because like towards the end of the episode, I was like, dude, Gene's just getting fucking reckless as fuck right now. Like he's just going, like he doesn't care anymore. He's just going back or whatever.
Broke the window. I mean, right now this is straight up B&E, man. Yeah. What are you doing?
But like the way he was like commanding his underlings, I was like, man, he's really trying to be Heisenberg right now. Like,
he was feeling the power. Like when he said, "Oh, give me the camera," get fuck off, you're fired. It's like, whoa, you can tell these guys were never equals. No matter how much he said they were partners. It's like Jesse, they're never partners.
Just using them for his gains. But it was nice. Like the parallel is there then with mustache and all. It's just like he's trying to pull those moves, but it's not going to be successful, I would say.
Yep, he's gonna crash and burn. Yeah. I'm interested to know how he does. But yeah, I think that little old lady's gonna take him down, or be one of the factors.
I think she might play a part. I don't know how, but I think so. But yeah, I mean, that last little sequence there, just to wrap it all up, I guess, where it's like cross-cutting between Gene going back in, about to break in, and like door to door. It's like he opens the door, closes his door as Saul, and he's walking up. You see the Plymouth or whatever.
Yep.
Walking up to the school. Just that moment, like that's where I really drew the parallel of like these are two moments where Jimmy's like sealing his own fate. Like,
yep.
We're living in those two moments together now. Like, and right when he walks up to the school, he's about to seal his fate, and when he is about to break the window, he's sealing his fate for what we know as the last of it too. So,
and we get that little teaser for the next episode, I assume, with the police. So it's kind of like,
it's happening.
What's happening? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the end of the episode. I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna happen. I don't know how we're gonna get. I'm not even gonna guess.
Yeah.
I just I'm here for it.
Yep. Two more. Yeah.
Woo.
It's exciting.
Great time to be alive.
Yeah. I'm happy we're talking about it.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, excited to talk about the next one.
Yep. Episode 12. What's this one called? Waterworks.
Waterworks.
And then the last one, Saul Gone.
Yeah, that's a good last name.
Yeah.
But all right, join us for those discussions. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes. Bye.